In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to make processes, or SOPs, so easy that you'll be able to finally turn that mess that's in your head into steps so clear that anyone can follow it. And not only that, but I'll also show you exactly how to use AI to write these SOPs in minutes while your peers take days. It's so easy. You just talk through your ideas and boom, AI cleans it up for you. And so by the end of this video, you're going to have a few things. One is the exact script that I use to talk through my process ideas with AI. The other is the literal prompts that I use to instantly turn any rant into a professional looking SOP. And then we'll actually make an SOP together so you can see how it's done instantly. And so if you stay to the end, I'll give you access to all my prompts and scripts that you can steal for yourself, all for free. So let's get into it. So what we're gonna cover today is three things. One is we're gonna figure out which steps actually matter. So what's the SOPs that you wanna make? Step two, we'll also cover today, is just how to talk through your process like you're talking to a friend. And so this means that it can be disorganized, it can be ranty, like no pressure. You just wanna get your thoughts from the task into a brain dump. I'll show you exactly how. And then step three is we're going to use AI to automatically take just the mess that's in your head and put it into an organized, structured way so that anyone can follow it. So let's get into it. So what you're looking at here is a Notion document. That's all the information you need. It's got the prompts to copy paste. It's got the scripts that you can speak to, etc. Just to make it super easy for you. I'll use this as the outline and I'll put a link in the description so you'll have access to this exact document. Okay, so step one, how do we figure out which step we're going to write down today? So if you have a business, there's really only two parts to a business. One is you get customers. Two is you give customers what they wanted, right? What they paid for. And so within those two buckets of work, or two engines of your business, you can call it, there's a bunch of tasks you have to do, right? So to get customers, maybe you get customers through social media and you have to create content, post content, have a lead magnet funnel, right? And then convert to a sale, etc. Or on the delivery side, once the payment hits, it triggers, maybe if you have an agency, it triggers your account manager to do an onboarding call, and it may trigger a certain setup in your task management system, that kind of stuff, right? But the point isn't the steps. The point is there are a lot of steps in your business. And so we want to write them down to make them repeatable, but not all of the steps, because people don't read 100 steps, right? People don't read 100 documents. And so typically what you would do is you figure out which step is the most valuable, which step is the bottleneck, which step can't you mess up? Because if you don't mess up that step because you have it so well documented and people just follow that document, then your business is in a good spot. But that's a little more advanced. What we're gonna do today is we wanna just get you started. The best SOP is not the perfect SOP, it's an SOP, the one that you actually use. And so how do we do that? We're gonna actually start you today with the easiest one. What's the one you're most comfortable with? What's the step that you do most often yourself and you want to offload to someone consistently? And so I gave you this list here of a bunch of ideas that you can steal. All right, so I made you this list, right, to get your brain going and thinking, because the hardest part about coming up with SOPs is figure out which one you're going to do. Okay, so let's look at this. Remember, there's two parts. How do you get customers, right? How do you deliver customers? And so I made a bunch of, so if you do lead gen, there's a few ideas to get you going. If you do outbound sales, there's a few ideas of tasks to get you going, right? Inbound marketing, sales process, client onboarding, right? Or on the delivery side, we have project management, client communications, fulfillment, quality control, retention and upsell. Now, the point isn't understand all these things. That's not important. The point is to take a look at these and say which one resonates with you the most and is easiest for you in your business that you could speak to the processes today, right now. Pick one. And so I'll pick an example, and it's going to be on the delivery side. For us, it's going to be how do we get candidates to our clients? So we'll choose that one. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so at this point, we've picked a task that we're going to create into a process. Great. Now here's the fun part. Let's rant about the process to a friend. Now you have two options. One is ChatGPT is great with voice mode. So you can, and I'll show you, I'll grab my phone, you'll see it in a second. You can just speak to ChatGPT like a friend and it'll organize your thoughts for you. That's one. Option two is if you don't want to just think it through, but you want to actually share a screen and walk through the process, that's an easy way to do it too. And so you can have a Loom video or any kind of a recording tool that shares your screen. You go through and explain it out loud like you're talking to a friend, and then take the transcript from that recording, drop into AI, and have it create your SOP for you instantly. Now, I have two things for you. One is, if you don't want to come up with the ideas on the spot, I have scripts here on exactly what to say. I'll cover that in a second. And then I also have, we just saw the scripts here, and then I also have the prompt. If you decide to use a Loom video and put the transcript into AI, I have this prompt here you just copy paste this and it looks long. All you do is copy it, drop it into Claude or ChatGPT or whatever you like to use, along with your transcript, and boom, you have instant SOPs. So we're gonna use the ChatGPT voice approach because it's the simplest. So let me grab my phone. 1 second. Got my phone? Okay, I'm back. So what we're gonna do, so I've got ChatGPT up here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna give context to ChatGPT. This is the only part you need to script a little bit, just to make sure that Chat understands what we're doing here. So just steal mine. Again, links in the description. You'll see the full script outline here. But okay, keep in mind, this is not perfect. This doesn't have to be perfect. The point of this is to be simple. We're gonna rant to ChatGPT a little bit. It's gonna be disorganized on purpose because then it can just organize your thoughts. There's less pressure, and it means you will actually finally have your SOPs done. Okay. So our goal is to just get something on paper. Don't go for perfect. If it's perfect, you've waited too long and people just won't have steps to follow. So let's get something on paper. So here's what we're gonna do. So in chat here, there's a button in the lower right. There's a button in the lower right here that when you click, it turns into voice mode. So let's see if we can see this voice mode. Great, that's in voice mode now. It's listening to us. So
Yep, I'm here and ready to chat. Let me know what's on your mind or if there's anything fun you want to talk about.
Hey, chat. So for context, I run a staffing agency where I help business owners hire sales and marketing people, and I plug them into businesses to run their sales and marketing processes. So think like email marketers, paid media, project managers, account managers, social media, etc. So I'm going to give you a disorganized brain dump on exactly how the process for how we analyze candidates and we give them to businesses. What I want you to do is give me a simple but step-by-step process document that just has everything a recruiter is going to need to follow this. It has to be simple but clear. Just say okay if you've understood this, or ask me whatever questions you have to clarify my prompt.
Got it. That sounds like a fun challenge. I can definitely help you organize that into a clear step-by-step process for your recruiters. If there's any specific detail you want to make sure I include, or if you want me to focus on certain aspects of the process, just let me know.
So I'm going to rant a little bit, but I think the things that are most important for us to talk about are, so in this process, I want to make sure it's documented when we do it, 2, who does it, 3, why we're doing this, like what's the goal. 4 is, this is the important part, right? Like what are the actual steps that we need to do to make it happen? And those steps need to be very clear so that somebody else can follow this process. And then 5th one is what's some common mistakes that happen in this process.
Got it. That definitely gives us a solid structure for your process document. So to recap, we'll outline when the process happens, who's responsible for it, the overall goal, the detailed steps that need to be taken, and the common mistakes to watch out for. I'll make sure it's all super clear and easy to follow.
Perfect. And when you spit it back to me, I want you to make it, use very simple words and short sentences, be very concise, and be very specific in your language.
Absolutely. I'll keep it super straightforward and concise so that everything is crystal clear and easy to understand. Once I put it all together, it'll be simple and actionable. Feel free to rant away, and I'll make sure to capture everything in that format.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so the way that our process works is this process is for our recruiter. And so the way this kicks off is we get 2,000 resumes for each role. We ask them to submit their resume with a Loom video that introduces themselves, gives them the background, etc. Then we have folks do an interview with our recruiter. Then they'll go through a testing period where like they'll test, so if they do social media, they may send examples of social media or do a test of a social media campaign for us. If they're an email marketer, they may create a pseudo email marketing campaign. And then lastly, what we do, and this is where the process really starts for the specifically what we're talking about today, is we're going to organize all those documents. Right now, we have a database that takes that analyzes all those outputs, puts it into one database, and so the recruiter, here's where the process starts. The recruiter takes all the outputs from all those parts, collects them, takes a prompt, puts them into Claude to dissect it, and then puts the final analysis of it into a Google Doc format. The recruiter will look at the output from Claude and its analysis of each candidate to help prioritize, rank, and select the top candidates, and then make sure that all of the links are linked back to the original source. That will be, sorry, last part. The completed output of this process is that they have one document with all the top candidates, ranked by numerically, with a recommendation as to why they're a best fit specifically for what the client needs. And then we'll send it to our team for their final review, send it to their manager for final review before it goes to the client. What questions do you have? Because I've ranted.
No worries. That was super helpful. I think I got it all down. Just to confirm, the final document for the recruiter will include all the top candidates ranked numerically, along with a recommendation for each one that matches the client's needs. After that, it goes to the manager for a final review before it heads to the client. If that sounds right, I'll start putting it together in that clear, concise format we talked about.
Yep, that sounds good. And do you have everything you need? So that's when they do it, who does it, why we do it, what the steps that they do, and common mistakes. And when you think about the steps, just break it out into only a few steps, so maybe like 5 steps. That's a rough number. Use whatever number you think makes sense. And tell me if there's anything you're missing, like any information in between steps, or any steps that are potentially vague or unclear.
I think I've got a pretty solid understanding. I'll get started on that document. Man, if you have any more details or thoughts, just let me know. We'll make it as seamless and clear as possible.
Perfect. Let me know when it's ready. Okay, so chat is now working on the document. It's thinking. And once it's done thinking, I'll show you the output. And just came through. So here, take a look. So we've got everything we talked about, right? Which is, so the SOP for the final candidate review, but we've got when do they do it, who does it, what's the goal. I asked ChatGPT intentionally to keep it as short as possible. Long, detailed SOPs don't get read. And so you'll also see, okay, so step by step. 1, pick the top 3 to 5 candidates, rank them clearly, write a short note for each one, draft the final recommendation, and then send to manager for review with common mistakes to avoid. I think it's good. I think the final recommendation, I didn't read this out loud, but there's specific bullet points on what makes a good candidate versus not. And I think the only change I would suggest is when it says pick your 3 to 5 candidates, it says choose the candidates based on fit, experience, and communication. I would probably go into more detail, and this is where you copy paste it, load it into Notion or Google Drive or whatever you use for your internal documentation. But then I would just add a few, like 2 bullets on, say, what makes a candidate a good fit, experience, and communication. Or you can just tell it and tell chat to fix it. But yeah, other than that, like, we've got a completed SOP. And so the only things you would add, so you take this, put it into your Notion, Google Drive, etc., and then you can add things like links when you talk about stuff, right? So if you say, hey, use this system to log your candidates. So we have a system called, doesn't matter, Manitol, and we want to link to it with access notes, boom, we can add that too. Or if you want to do, I like to add Loom videos that explain and show, and you can just film a Loom, copy paste it inside, you have that too. And so those are a little more advanced things that you don't need. This is a perfect thing just to get started. Take the first step. After that, you build it out a little more as you hit problems or just to make sure that you have what you need. but that's a good start. We used AI to make an SOP in 10 minutes. That's insane. So you just watched me make an SOP in under 10 minutes that would have taken hours to make from scratch. And so that whole document I showed you with all the prompts, the scripts, etc., I just put that in the link below so you can do that for yourself. So go down and click if you want to actually make SOPs instantly. Now look, a system is just these three things. It's the processes that you've built, the people who make the process a reality, and tech all working together to get those tasks done. Now look, an SOP is just part of a system. A system is just the processes that you do in your business, the people who do the processes, and the tech that make it run. If you want to stop being the bottleneck in your business, you're going to need to map out all the steps, make these SOPs using the method we learned today, hire the people to actually run the SOPs, and then plug in the tech to make it work on autopilot. And so if you want to do it yourself, I have resources in the description. But also if you'd rather have it done for you, just click the link below to book a call and myself or someone from my team will guide you through it. Let's get your life back. I'll see you in the next one.